Hello everybody, this is my first Pecha Kucha ever. In this Pecha Kucha, I'm going to be talking about what I have learned in this course and how it has changed my overall views and thought process on a few topics relating to social justice. After reading the guide provided for this assignment, I realized that I might have been looking at some of the topics covered in this course in the wrong way. I always thought of myself to be a very laid back and accepting person, but maybe I got it all wrong. When I think of natural sciences, the first thing that comes to my mind is that natural sciences can't really be challenged unless you have an extremely deep knowledge in the field. But we can challenge opinions of social sciences, right? Wrong. And I've come to understand that after reading the guide. We can't just challenge or question an idea or opinion just for the sake of sharing our own opinions. Just like with natural sciences, we need to have all the proof and knowledge necessary to challenge ideas or opinions. Just like I mentioned before, to have an opinion, you should have prior knowledge of the topic being discussed. I have come to realize that my opinions on a few topics might not be fully based on thorough research. Instead, they are things I believe are right. From now on, I will be more careful about what I say. We have covered a lot of social justice topics in this course, starting from our second class with social problems, followed by global goals for sustainable development, privilege, anti-black racism, poverty in local Canadian food banks, addiction, and human trafficking. Although the topics were very well presented and really hit home, there were a couple I was interested in more in particular. Such topics were privilege, addiction, and human trafficking. I have always had strong opinions on these subjects, but learning about them in this course gave me a deeper understanding. I've always known why privilege existed. I had seen it on TV and I had seen it in my everyday life. Even though my skin color is white, I had never thought of myself as being privileged. But after learning about different forms of privilege and how difficult it is to distinguish it, I realized I'm privileged after all. Growing up, all of my books had images of white people. All of my dolls had white or light colored skin. All the makeup I would see in the stores would be shades of light colored skin, and it didn't seem to be an issue for me because my skin was being represented. But it was and is an issue for people of color. Underrepresentation is being fought, especially in the recent years. I have noticed that TV and media have started to represent people of color more and more. I have started to see more dolls that have different skin color shades. I've seen a lot of dark skin models. I know this isn't much and it's not going to make up for years and years of racism and suffering of people of color, but it is a start and I hope I can help the cause. Jumping to another topic, I wanted to share some of my thoughts on addiction and some misunderstandings I've had on it. In my mind, I've always had a very plain and general idea of addictions. It is something that affects your ability to stop yourself from doing certain things. Learning about it has made me realize there's so much more to addiction and it can happen to anyone. Just like a lot of other medical conditions, addiction is not easy to deal with or cure, but it's not impossible to do so. Learning about the BPS or the biopsychosocial model made me realize that we can't just treat addiction with a couple of therapy sessions. We need to get to the root of the problem, find out what are the biological, psychological, and social factors that fuel the addiction. Genetics, mental illnesses, and other biological factors can influence addiction. Thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, which make up the psychological factors, can also be of influence. Lastly, social, economical, environmental, and cultural factors all play a huge role in people's behaviors that lead to addiction. Taking all these factors into consideration and making a personal assessment of any biological, psychological, social, and environmental factors that might have played a role in influencing someone's decisions leading towards addiction is essential when we're trying to help that person. Last but not least, I wanted to touch up on the topic of human trafficking. It has always been a scary topic to discuss because it can really happen to anyone at any time. What was really disturbing to me is how difficult it is to notice it happening right under our noses in our everyday lives. The class on human trafficking taught me that it's not that easy to spot. Victims will not just come up to you and tell you they're being trafficked, but there are a few behavioral and physical indicators of possible trafficking. Such indicators include visible bruises, malnourishment, STDs, depression. They might seem confused, might be escorted by someone else, etc. If you happen to stumble across someone that has these signs and you suspect they're trafficked, do not bluntly ask them if they are being trafficked. There is a chance they will probably not tell you the truth. Instead, first make sure they are safe and comfort them. They need to know they can trust you. Ask them if they have access to basic needs and if they can communicate with their families. If you're sure they're being trafficked, call the police. It's not easy to become part of a situation like that, and not having the proper knowledge makes it even more difficult. If you really want to help someone, you have to first understand that what they're going through, what caused their issue or the problem, and how you can help them resolve their issue without further hurting them or damaging their progress. I found this course to be very informative and useful when it comes to the topics mentioned in this presentation, and more. It changed my perspective on a lot of issues, raising awareness about them. The guide also helped me understand that I'm not as knowledgeable on certain topics as I thought I was, and that there are so many perspectives to be considered. And just like that has come the end of my Pecha Kucha. I hope it was even just a little informative and reflective of my personal journey and experiences relating to this course and its content. I look forward to learning more, and I hope you do as well. Thank you for your time. Don't hesitate to contact me with any questions or concerns.